So welcome to everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for our very first live Baka Sip Up. Sip meaning shelter in place. And also what's more fun than sipping on wine during shelter in place? We want to say thank you all so much for joining us at 4 o'clock on a Monday. We know that there's a lot of things you could be doing, probably not a lot of places you could be going, but a lot of things you could be doing right now. And we appreciate you spending time with us. We hope you're all happy and healthy and getting to spend extra time with your family. And we thought it would just be fun to have something light and happy to do during all the craziness that's going on in the world. So we put together this 3-part series where we're going to try 3 different Baka wines and then also do a little trivia game and try your hand at some fun trivia questions on both pop culture as well as wine. And so for each one of these episodes, you'll have me, Jennifer Brown, as your host, and Alison Frichtl Hollister as our co-host. And, before I turn it over to Alison, I'll just say, for those of you who aren't aware, Baka is a brand made by the Hall family, and we started it about 3 years ago. We make Zinfandels from all over California, and we like to have a lot of fun. I think that's probably all I'll say, but I'd like to say hi to Alison over there at the winery. How's it going?
Hey Jen, it's going really well over here at the winery. Yeah.
Good. What have you been up to today?
It's been a busy day. Right now, we're working hard to get ready for a bottling run in June. And because we bottle wines unfiltered, we work ahead a lot. It takes a lot of preparation, and we want to give them a lot of time to settle out any remaining sediment they have really slowly and gently. So keeping busy here, and we're all grateful to still be coming to the office and keep production running.
Totally. And I forgot to mention that Alison Frichtl Hollister is the senior winemaker. She makes all of our Baka wines and also is a key component of our Hall and Walt wines as well. She was also promoted to being the Walt winemaker as well. And it looks like you're over there in the blending lab. Is that right?
That's right. This is my office, which also doubles as our blending lab. So this is a place we come to critically evaluate wines. That's partly why it's so white, because it helps us see the color too. And I've got some cool reference maps behind me. So it's a place to come get inspired about the wines, and it's a serene place to work.
Totally. Especially, it looks like you've only got like 5 bottles behind you. I know when we do blending, sometimes there's like 100 bottles and it's super overwhelming.
It's a lot. Yeah. You have to be in a really calm kind of mind space to get through all of that. And
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'll also mention to the audience that feel free to ask us questions at any time. We'll be taking live questions over the next 30 minutes. We do have a trivia game that we're going to get to in a little bit, but we love to hear any questions you have about wine or about us or really just about anything. We'll try our best to answer. So, Alison, the wine that we're going to be trying here today is the beautiful 2017 Cat's Cradle Zinfandel that comes from Rockpile. And I don't know about you, but I am ready for a glass of wine. It's been a long day. What do you think?
I would love a glass of the Cat's Cradle. Yes, please.
So here's the bottle that we're about to have. For those of you at home who have this bottle in front of you and have the sip set, please go ahead and pour it, or whatever wine you're drinking today. We hope that you enjoy it. I'll pour some for myself. And then Alison, I'd love to pass the bottle to you so you can pour some for yourself too.
Let's give it a try. All right.
Oh, you got it.
I got it over here now.
Amazing how that worked like that.
Magical. I'm pouring myself a glass right now too.
Fantastic. So this wine comes from the Rockpile region, which I had never heard of. Really, Alison is the one who first introduced it to me when we first started getting grapes from there. And it's this really special area right outside of Dry Creek Valley, very remote in Sonoma County. And it's high in elevation, very rocky soils. It's just a beautiful location, and we are so lucky to be getting grapes from there. But I thought that Alison could tell us a little bit more in depth about the Rockpile area and the vineyards where we get our grapes.
Absolutely. This is a really special area, and it's a relatively new AVA too. What I find really cool about it is it's pretty remote. If you're in Dry Creek Valley and you keep driving north, basically, you'll run into Rockpile and you'll start going up into the hills. And it's not developed, it's a very natural environment, and it's also very sparsely planted. There aren't a lot of vineyards up there. So you get a real feeling of immersion in the natural environment. And you have gorgeous views too down over Lake Sonoma, which is an important part of the climate that makes it a great grape growing region. So this is an area that is particularly well known for Zin, and I feel pretty grateful to be working with some grapes from there.
Oh, for sure. And Allison's not kidding about how it's very steep over there. I remember I was pregnant when we first went out there, and I was almost like afraid of falling down because it was such a steep cliff. I mean, it's gorgeous when you look out there over Lake Sonoma, but incredibly steep on some of those vineyards. So we do have our first question, and it's for you, Allison.
Yeah.
What are you blending today? Are you blending today?
Actually, I mean, like strictly speaking, today we're actually working with our 2018 Napa Valley Cab, getting that ready for bottling.
Uh-huh.
Pretty soon, next up, queued up in blending in the cellar, is going to be our Gap's Crown Pinot Noir and our Rita's Crown Pinot Noir. So we start with, in the blending lab, we'll taste through all the components, and we'll come up with what we call our benchtop blends. So, we'll use our graduated cylinders to come up with the proportions from each lot we like. And now what's happening is in the cellar, they're actually physically taking these barrels out of the inventory, and we call it racking them out. We're taking the wine out of the barrels into a tank and blending it into a larger vessel, and then it'll go back into its barrels to continue aging until we bottle it in July.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I know there's also been a couple questions about blending in general and what that means.
Yeah, the question is, can you elaborate on blending? And I think that was part of my answer is winemakers determining, depending on what wine it is, taking a look at the components that could potentially go into that wine, tasting it in the lab setting, and trying different versions. And we'll try them blind too to keep ourselves honest, and choosing the most delicious wine basically in the end, and then our cellar will actually execute that blend, and that's happening right now with our Pinots, and pretty soon with the Zinfandels too.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys at home can tell, but we're very collaborative here at Hall Walton Bacchus. So, our winemaking team, they don't just work on Baca wines, they work on Hall and Walt and all of them. So we have a nice overview of what we do across all of the brands. It's really a special team.
It's true. Winemakers love variety too. We like to play around.
Yeah, I mean, I think humans I like variety too, actually. Okay, so you were just telling us about Rockpile and the special sort of situation where it's situated above Lake Sonoma with the cooling effect. And I think you might have a picture. Is that right?
I do have a picture. Let me pull that up for you. This is
one of Allison's hidden talents is that she's a wonderful photographer and artist.
Yes, I love taking pictures. We've got a lot of beautiful places to do that in here. So this is one of a vineyard called Rocky Ridge up in Rockpile. You can kind of get an idea of how steep it is here. I actually bought some more high-tech hiking boots to actually effectively get up and down these slopes. But you can see it's a great view down over Lake Sonoma. And then the surrounding hills are called the Pritchett Peaks. So it's, I guess, great vineyards tend to like great views too. They go hand in hand.
100%, and it's so beautiful there. Well, let's talk a little bit about, before we go to the trivia game, let's talk a little bit about the taste of this wine, because you guys did such a great job making this wine. I love it. One of the things that I love about this wine is that it not only has great fruit, but it also has that minerality that I love so much that's unique to Rockpile. And then it also has a lot of structure, meaning like the tannic structure, for those of you at home who don't know what that means. And it just, it almost surprises you as a Zinfandel. I mean, I love all the different types of Zinfandels we make, but it's It's one of our bolder Zinfandels that we make, and it's a really special wine that stands out from the rest of the lineup, I think.
Super well described, Jen. I completely agree.
Why, thank you.
uh, you know, the trope goes, it takes a stressful environment to grow great grapes. And we definitely have those stressors in Rockpile where there's not a lot of water, it's warmer during the day, it's limited nutrients. And so the vines have to work harder to produce great grapes. And what I found about this area is, as a winemaker, I have to work a little harder to make great wine too. You talked about the tannic structure, which is a part of this wine that I really love. And I work really hard in the cellar during harvest to coax out that tannin in a way that's not overly aggressive, but still has that essence of, it's got this kind of untamed quality that's really exciting about it. And I also get that minerality, and I agree it's something that's not typical in your spectrum of Zinfandel flavors. It definitely has like a brambly blackberry thing going on that is typical of Zin, but I describe the minerality as more like terracotta, which I think is really intriguing. And I like it when I find other flavors like that in wine besides just fruit.
Totally. I think, people should drink whatever they like, of course, but I like having something that's a little bit unique, and I find a Rockpile Zinfandel to be unique. So that's one of the reasons why I love our Cat's Cradle.
Yeah.
So we have a couple questions, and then we'll turn to the trivia game at hand. So the first question is, have you ever thought of blending other varietals into Zinfandel? Interesting.
Yes, I'll take that one. Zinfandel works really well with other blending varieties. A lot of our Zins are pure Zins, but we make some Petit Syrah from Ducey Vineyard down in Paso Robles. And I find that in certain wines, it can help bring out a lively acidity in the wine, and also bring some depth of color and in wines that might need to fill in those gaps a little bit. And in 2018, I was working with some Old Vine Carignan that was really exciting too, and it added also some color, and also a really earthy character to it, and also kind of filled out that textural mid palate for some of the wines.
Oh, fantastic. Well, first of all, before we go too far, let's cheers, Alison,
All
to a
right.
great wine.
Cheers.
And those of you at home, I hope you're raising your glass to us as well. Cheers to you. This is a great start to a Monday. So we're going to switch to our trivia game real quick. We have one real quick sip of wine. And then we'll get to the other questions because we'll have a little bit of downtime between the two rounds of questions, and we can answer more of your guys' questions then. So first, we'll start with our first category. We've got two categories of trivia games for you guys today. So if you don't have a pen and pencil, I would go grab one. You can also type this on your computer. But the important point for our trivia game is that you need to answer all 5 questions at once. So I'll be reading out 5 questions to you, and then you'll get a chance to answer them all together at once. And then we have our fabulous Alexandra who's going to come and tally those answers up. And the first person to get all questions correct, or the most questions correct, there's Alexandra, the most questions correct is going to win the first prize. So let me tell you real quick, we've got 2 categories today. The first category is binge-worthy television. And I'm sure many of you at home know a little bit about this, given that we've had some extra time in the last few weeks. So I think that's going to be a fun category. And then the second one will be our wine trivia. So we'll test you on your wine knowledge. All right, so before we get started, I want to introduce Alexandra.
Hi.
Alexandra, hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good. So will you tell everyone what you do for us at the winery?
I will. My name's Alexandra. I am originally from North Carolina, but I moved out here to work in wine and found myself with Baca, and I do public relations and social media for all 3 brands.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Alexandra is extremely talented, and we're so glad to have you, not least of which tallying up trivia contest answers, of course.
Yes.
So tell everyone what they're going to be winning if they win this category.
So if you win this category, you're going to win a discount code that's good for 25% off of your purchase from bacawines.com. So this is the perfect time to stock up on all kinds of wine, and this will help you do it for a little bit less.
Exactly. And I hope you have a glass of wine at home too, Alexandra.
I do.
Wonderful.
Cheers.
Love it. Cheers. Okay, so we'll get to these questions. I hope everyone's ready. Alison, you can play along too if you want to. Okay, so our first question, and remember, you're going to answer all these questions at once, not as they come. So I'm going to ask 5 questions, and then after we're done, I'll ask for you to give your answers. You can type them into Facebook, and then Alexandra is going to tally those up. Sound good?
And make sure that you answer all 5 questions in one comment, not just, by the question as Jen's reading. So just wait till the end, post all 5 in one comment, and then I will tally them up. So I'm gonna head out, but I'll pop back in once there's the winner.
Okay, sounds great.
Right.
Okay, now to the subject at hand. For your first question, what is the name of the popular Netflix series that chronicles the life of the current Queen Elizabeth II of England? I'll say that again. What's the name of the popular Netflix series that chronicles the life of the current Queen Elizabeth II of England? All right, second question. At the beginning of the Game of Thrones series, how many children do Ned and Catelyn Stark have? At the beginning of the Game of Thrones series, not at the end, at the beginning, how many children do Ned and Catelyn Stark have? Question 3, what is the name of the popular show on Netflix where contestants date? I've seen the show. Where they date and get engaged to one another before actually seeing each other. All right. Number 4, in the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel series, what is Mrs. Maisel's first name? In the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel series, what is Mrs. Maisel's first name? And then the 5th question is, how many tigers did Joe Exotic claim to have at one time? How many tigers, I would never get this one right. How many tigers did Joe Exotic claim to have at one time? All right, those are your 5 questions for the binge-worthy TV show section. Get answering. And then once we have a winner, Alexandra's going to come back and announce them to us. One thing that I really should have mentioned before we started this was that you should not use Google to to look up any answers. So hopefully you haven't done that, and please don't do that going forward. And also, we have a set of rules, official rules, that are on our Facebook page that by entering this contest, you have agreed to those rules. So please give a look at that too when you have a chance. But we're hoping that you'll have fun and answer these questions, and I'm sure we'll have a couple of great winners here today. So Alison, we do have some more questions.
Yeah.
And I think most of them are winemaking related.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Oh, how long should you cellar Baca wines? Says one of our guests.
That's a good question. Our wines are made to be drinkable upon release, but will benefit from some age too. I personally like a wine that's developed a little bit. When you're drinking them young, they've got more of that very pure fruit aromas coming out, and then I really like the secondary aromas from aging. So I would choose to age Bacas Infidels longer that have more tannin, like the Rock Pile, or like our Maffei vineyard, our Tug of War. The tannin also develops over time. So it starts out kind of tight, but will kind of loosen up and develop and will continually evolve in a really interesting textural way. So I would probably drink, say our Double Dutch from Paso Robles. I'd probably drink that within 5 years, but I think this Rock Pile might be kind of interesting in 10. And I'm really excited to see how they develop.
Yeah, that's the exciting thing is that, we don't really know because this is our third vintage. Well, we're going into our third vintage. The 2018 is coming out. So yeah, so we'll see. But I think that sounds about right. I mean, you guys have a lot of chops under you, and I think you have a good sense for how long things will age well.
Absolutely. They're made in a way that gives them the best potential to age. That's for sure.
For sure. Okay, so we have another question, and it is, what kind of climate does Zinfandel prefer?
That's a really interesting question because I've been working with Cabernet Sauvignon and Pinot Noir at the winery for so long. And of the varieties I've worked with, Zin seems to tolerate the greatest like diversity in temperature range. But in general, I'd say that Zin does pretty well in warmer climates. We make a Zin from Calistoga, which is a warmer part of the Napa Valley, and that's really great. Rockpile gets a little warmer. But it also needs to cool down at night to retain its vibrant acidity. So you always want to find that balance. But we're making Zin. Zin can be very interesting from a wide variety of regions, and especially in California, it seems to do really well.
I think that's what's so special about Zinfandel, and especially the sites that we selected for Baca, is that they're all so unique and so different, but really special in their own way. I agree with you, though. The warmer the climate, I personally am a fan, the most fan of our sort of bigger, sort of juicier wines, and I really do love the fruit flavors that come from warmer climates. I think that it makes a really special Zinfandel. Absolutely. For sure. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, let's see. We do have another question. How do you bring out the tannins?
Yeah, that's a really cool question too. I like to compare the fermentation process and extracting tannin to making a cup of tea. The longer you keep the tea bag in the hot liquid, the more tannic it's going to get. That's that quality we're talking about when we talk about tannin. So it depends on temperature, it depends on time, and it depends on agitation. If you're really moving that tea bag up and down a lot, it's going to extract more. If it's cold water, it's going to extract less. And so with a tannic wine like the Rockpile, I try to get extraction up front before there's a lot of alcohol in solution, because that's more of a gentle environment. And you're extracting softer tan at that point. And then midway through the fermentation, I really start to let up. It's relatively cool. It's about 70 degrees in the tank, which would be pretty cool for people. And sometimes I just stop agitating it at all. One of the most common ways of mixing the tank we call a pump over. And sometimes I'll just let it sit and let it be. And that can be hard to do. It can be hard not to mess with something, but it shows rewards in a wine like this for sure.
Oh, for sure. Well, that was a wonderful, very comprehensive answer. Thank you so much. So Alexandra's back. Are you here to announce a winner?
I am. We have a winner. This winner, nobody got all 5 questions.
You know what? Should I say the answers real quick before you tell the answer?
Yeah, let's do the answer.
The winner? Okay, the answer to number 1 is The Crown. The answer to number 2 is 5 Children, which was very difficult, I realize. 3 is Love is Blind. I have been watching that show. It's very crazy. Number 4 is Midge Maisel. And the answer to number 5 is 227 tigers. Okay.
It's a lot of tigers. And nobody got that right. That was the question that I suggested. And I thought people were as tiger obsessed as me, but I guess I need to start watching something else. All right, so our winner got 3 of the answers right. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. It is Euphemy Long. So I will DM you after the game is over and tell you your discount code for the wine.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations, Euphemy.
Yeah, good
nice
job.
Work. Okay, so Allison's going to lead our second section, which is wine trivia, and I will turn it over to her.
All right, I'll see you guys at the end of this one.
Thanks,
Bye,
Alex.
Alexandra.
Bye.
All right, so I've got some wine questions for you guys. My first question is, does poor soil or fertile soil generally produce better? Again, that's, does poor soil or fertile soil generally produce better wine? Question number 2, how many gallons of wine go into a barrel? Again, that's how many gallons of wine fit in one barrel. Next question, question 3. Sometimes Zinfandels have other varieties in the blend. Name 2 grapes that are often blending partner of Zinfandel. Again, often or sometimes Zinfandels have other varieties in the blend. Name 2 grapes that are often a blending partner of Zinfandel. Question number 4, how many regular 750 milliliter bottles of wine would fit into one Jeroboam? And that's spelled J-E-R-B-O-A-M. And again, how many regular 750 ml bottles of wine would fit into a Jeroboam? And our last question, number 5, is what is the French term for spur pruning a vine along a wire? Again, what's the French term for spur pruning a grapevine along a wire? All right.
I really like how you chose a combination of hard ones and sort of more approachable questions. Those were good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully not provoking.
Hopefully. So while we wait just a minute for Alexandra to tally up the winner, we do have some more questions. I'll take this one. What's your favorite, or we can both take it actually. What's your favorite food to pair with Zinfandel? For me, I really love pizza and Zinfandel. I think that it's a real, well, first of all, who doesn't love pizza? And then second of all, I think it's a really great pairing with the tomato sauce and the Zinfandel together. Something about it just goes really well together. What about you, Allison?
Agree. That's a delicious one. I had pizza last night with some Zin. But I also like roasted vegetables with Zinfandel too, because I like to put a lot of herbs and black pepper on those vegetables, and those things call out, like there's a sweetness of the vegetables that works well with the fruit in the wine, but I like the herbaceousness and spiciness complements the Zin from that combination.
Oh, that sounds delicious. I love roasted veggies. I think I also like curries, you know, like some Indian curries I think go really well with Zin as well.
Yeah, I made a Moroccan stew that also had kind of like spice mix that I thought would go really well too.
Yeah, it's funny, you know, you would think that you wouldn't want something super spicy to go with Zinfandel because of the spice, but I actually think they really complement each other very well.
Totally, and it's like, it's spicy like black pepper spicy or nutmeg spicy, but something like really hot spicy food, I think that would start to interfere with how the wine
Totally. Right. I should say that I actually don't eat super spicy food. You and I went to an Indian restaurant together where I ordered like mild, and it still had a little bit of spice for me. So
exactly.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. We do have another question, and that is, can you tell us about the Baca Rosé? Does the can affect quality?
That's a cool question. I'll take that one. We were really excited to can the wine because it's a really accessible package. You can take it a lot of places where you can't take glass. And we were also really attracted by how eco-friendly it was. And as the winemaker for this, I got really technical about it. And I talked to other winemakers who were canning. I read up a lot about the process. And it is a little bit different than the bottle. I would say it's a shorter lifespan. You want to drink it sooner when it's in a can rather than when it's in a bottle. And it's a truly sealed environment. So you're not going to get the same micro interaction with air as you would with a bottle with a natural cork in it. But quality-wise, we're putting good quality wine into a can, and I think it drinks really well. What do you think of it, Jen?
Oh, I love our rosé. And in fact, our new rosé is coming out in about, I think about a week or two, we're releasing it. And, you know, rosé is meant to be drunk within the first year that it's made. And I think that's something that I love in a rosé is the freshness quality of it.
Right.
And, you know, a year is not going to be affected in a can. If anything, actually, I think it probably preserves the freshness because there's no oxidation whatsoever. I think the first vintage we did, the last run of the rosé cans, were amazing.
Yeah.
And also just the practicality of it, the fact that it's only, you know, a couple glasses of wine versus a whole bottle that you have to open and you can take it with you. Not that we're going on that many picnics these days, but if you wanted to go on a picnic or a walk, it's very portable. Oh, looks like Alexandra is back.
Hello.
Oh,
So
should
we have a winner, but if we want to go over the answers first.
Oh, right. Let's let Alison do the answers and then we can say the winner.
Okay, great. The answer to question 1 was poor soil generally produce a better wine, or more like soil that's limiting for the wine. Question number 2 is 60 gallons fit in a barrel. Question number 3 is, the answer is Petit Syrah and Carignan. So we had a hint to that earlier in the conversation.
I know, with the question we got.
The answer to question number 4 is 6 bottles fit into a Jeroboam. That's also a half case. And the answer to question number 5 is cordon, which means cord in French.
Awesome. So our winner of this category is Danica Lyon. So Danica, you've won a tasting for 4 at our Healdsburg tasting room once we reopen, and I will DM you after this to give you your prize.
Fantastic. Well, cheers to Danica.
Congrats.
Good job, everybody. A lot of people got a lot more of those answers right than I probably would have gotten. So
Well, thank you, Alexandra. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. It's been fun. Bye.
Bye. So thank you all so much for joining us here today. I hope you had fun. We hope we brought a little bit of lightness and joy into your day, and maybe even a little bit of education about binge-worthy television and wine. If you have any suggestions for our categories for next week, please let us know. We haven't settled on what questions we're going to ask yet, so we're super open to other categories. And I'll just tell you that we'll be here next Monday at the same time, 4 p.m. Pacific time, with our Double Dutch and then one of our club wines, Somersault. And it's not too late to order your SiP set to sip along with us as we're trying these wines. And then also every weekday for the next 2 weeks, all of our brands are hosting SiPs at 4 p.m. So you are never going to have to worry about what you want to do in the afternoon. We would love to entertain you and have a glass of wine with you. So for that, thank you all so much again. We hope to see you soon. Thanks, Alison. This has been super fun.
A lot of fun. Thanks, Jen.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.